Uneducated, unfiltered, unhinged. This is the Mangina Dialogues. We at it again with your host Nick Scopes and the Gregolicious. You know how we do, cause you know we keeping it gangster and silly. Unplugged like a full swung titty. About get jitty, cause you know we down to the nitty and the gritty. And we make shit sound so damn pretty. Yeah, cause this unhinged comedy. And right now you're in the mix, so get ready. Cause we about to get it poppin', and we ain't stopping. Uneducated, unfiltered, unhinged. This the Mangina Dialogues.
Hello, and welcome to the Mangina Dialogues. I am your host, Nick Scopes.
And I'm Nikki Six.
Totally. You're totally Nikki Six. Oh my God. And our guest today is a stand-up comic, also resident Twitch expert, Natalie Cuomo. No relation to Governor Cuomo. How are you, Natalie?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on. How are things going? You're in New York currently, right?
I'm actually in Jersey City, but
Jersey City, okay.
yeah.
Greg's from Jersey.
Ah, where's
Jersey
Jersey?
strong. Bergen County,
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Northern Jersey, the worst. So, how are you spending the final couple weeks of 2020? The
Hell of a
best fucking year ever.
Well, today I actually made the ultimate decision not to do any more in-person comedy for the rest of the year.
So you're holding out for 15 days, 16 days.
I'm holding out for 15 days. I'm going to wait for the numbers to go down. It's crazy. I had a bunch of shows this week and I got my coronavirus results this morning and I found out that I'm negative, but I don't have the antibody anymore. So now I'm like, I had the virus.
Oh.
And I had the antibody in June and July, and now I'm vulnerable again.
Wow.
That's
weird.
Now, when you had it, because everyone's symptoms are all over the place, like what did you have? How sick were you?
I was pretty sick. I had a really bad cough and an inhaler and stuff.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So you got hit pretty hard. And you're young, so.
I'm 25.
When did you get it? In the early days of all this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when it was like I read something a few months ago that said that something like 20 to 30% of people that lived in and around New York City were exposed, between March and April.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is the week before everything shut down, I was working at an art fair with people that flew in from all over the country. So I was like, it's fucking over for me.
This is how I go. It's my last art fair.
Thank God.
It's funny. I up until then, I travel a lot for work. And I mean, not a week went by for like the last 3 years that I wasn't on a plane or something. And, luckily I was pretty conscious of, cleaning where I sit and being kind of cautious. But, when something's going on like that, there's just nothing you could do.
Yeah.
At least now people are much more conscious of trying to be safe and
Right.
Totally understand, like, trying to stay enclosed. We, on the other hand, are doing our shows. So we'll see what happens.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
we're trying.
I mean, in Connecticut, it's different than at least it was in the city where, we do our shows like That's How I Met You, and we're limited to only 25 people indoors.
Right.
So, 25 people, it's really easy to kind of keep your space and be much more responsible than, going to, shows, even if they're outdoors, where there's lots of people packed, in and around and not being responsible. It's easier for us. Plus we're in a big restaurant facility that is very conscious of social distancing and being very aware of the surroundings. So we feel pretty safe doing it, and everyone is responsible, but totally respect the I'm staying home for a few weeks. It'll get you on Twitch.
It'll get me on Twitch, and you know what? I think I'll make more money on Twitch than these outdoor shows. So We'll see.
I have that's a good It's a good guess, probably. I think you
We'll
definitely
see.
make more on Twitch. Now, what do you want to do on Twitch? Are you doing are you gonna be gaming and just like filming yourself, or are you gonna be just being funny, telling jokes, or what?
Well, okay, there are a few things. One, I'd like to just chat with people. I feel like that'd be fun. Two, I have 2 podcasts and I'd like to live stream them on Twitch when I'm recording them. And 3, if I can learn how to fucking play video games, that's where the money is, baby. So let's try.
It's sick. Isn't it
It
sick
is.
that
Yeah.
how you could make like not just a little money, you could make like Lamborghini money.
Exactly.
Fucking playing Call of Duty.
It's crazy.
Especially as a good-looking girl who has a personality. And all
Yeah.
those, I'm not to diss everybody, but like, nerds just like, oh my God, just
Right.
watching so intently. Like, it just makes sense.
I
Why
went-
not do it?
I went to a GameStop, the store GameStop.
Yeah.
A convention. They have this convention once a year, and I've been going the last few years for business. And they have panels where people can come up and meet their favorite whatever, whether it's a comic book illustrator or whatever it might be. And the ones that had the biggest lines and like most freaking out people around them were people that were professional gamers.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I
It's
walked by this
crazy.
one girl who looked like she like literally walked out of The Fifth Element, like that movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm like, what is this? Like, who is this girl? Like, she's got to be some like famous cosplayer or something. And they were like, oh no, that's blank. She plays Assassin's Creed. And I'm like, I play Assassin's Creed. Like, no one's sitting behind me waiting,
Well, look at you, dude. So
it was unbelievable. So you know what? Get a couple controllers and you're on your way to.
I gotta figure this out. Yeah.
Do you play video games at all? Have you?
So my parents growing up would not let me play video games. Like I had a Game Boy for my friend and I got grounded. So this is a whole new world for me.
Oh wow! So
but I think
hardcore.
maybe that's entertaining. Like someone who doesn't know how to play. I
don't know. Could be hilarious.
I think you'll do fine.
Thank you.
You'll do fine. I don't even know where you go on Twitch, to be honest. I'm not a video gamer either, but it's the rage. So let's talk about your podcasts. Just tell us a little bit about them.
I have 2 podcasts. One of them is called Thirst Trap Podcast. It's with my friend and comedian Amanda Gale, and we just talk about all sorts of social media stuff, who's sliding in our DMs, how to take the perfect picture, fun stuff like that. And then I have another podcast called Classy Trashy Podcast, and that one is my fiance and I interview different tattoo artists. And that's sponsored by like this cool tattoo bomb company called Mad Rabbit.
Oh, that's cool. What? So you're just talking to like in that one, like just tattoo artists and people in the tattoo world?
Yeah, people that are like heavily tattooed or are tattoo artists or I don't know.
And what's like someone who listens to that? What are they? Who's the typical person that listens to that? Is it someone that's like obviously into tattoos, but is there something else besides that they listen in for?
So I guess it would be people that like tattoos, but also so our like Classy Trashy magazine is like a motorcycle magazine that we have. So, it's most likely going to be like bikers and guys like that listening to the podcast.
Right. So do you talk about like motorcycles and all of those kind of things that cross over?
Yeah, there are a lot of tattoo artists that are part of the biker world. So there are like quite a few of we've only put out 4 episodes, but the first guy we interviewed, he's very in touch with like the chopper scene. So there's crossover there.
Yeah, I worked for a while with Kat Von D.
Oh, cool.
And Inked Magazine and other tattoo stuff. So I wish I had more tattoos. I've had tattoo disasters.
Tell her about the one on your ankle, dude.
What's a disaster?
Tell her about the ankle tat.
Whatever. It's a fucking fraternity tattoo. Which I could tell you funny tattoo stories. I've gotten, I don't know, 5 or 6 tattoos in my life. And the first one I ever got was at 11 o'clock in the morning. I think I had to be 18 years old. I just had joined a fraternity when I was in college. And I'm sitting in this tattoo parlor in right outside Giant Stadium, whatever that is over there. And the TV was on and we were watching like Bonanza, like some ridiculous being tattooed by like just old tattoo guy, and he's doing my ankle, and I'm watching Bonanza. Next thing I know, I'm being smacked across the face. I had passed out from this like ankle tattoo.
Wow.
Not from pain. It didn't really hurt. It was that typical like sensation of being tattooed.
Okay.
But I have like a blood pressure issue from when I was a little kid. So my blood pressure would go up and come down, or go down and go up really, really quickly. And I would pass out. It like would happen at doctor's offices and like ridiculous places. It happened all the time when I was younger. And so I passed out in that tattoo. And then I get this ridiculous Irish bulldog. Not Irish. Like, there's no reason for me to have an Irish bulldog tattoo on my ankle whatsoever. But it was 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm 18 years old, and I picked the stupidest fucking tattoo I possibly could. Then I'm in college. Fast forward a few years later, go down to the beach in New Hampshire to get a tattoo with a bunch of guys, and
cute.
I just picked some ridiculous drawing that was on the wall, and I'm like, tattoo that on my shoulder, and it literally like looks like a Nazi symbol on my shoulder, and I'm Jewish, so it's like ridiculous, right? so he's like tattooing my arm, and I'm like looking, and there happens to be a poster. You've probably seen it. It's like the old poster from that you would see at the carnival of like 4 girls in different color thong bathing suits, and it's just like 4 girls' butts. And I'm like looking at it. Next thing I know, I'm being slapped across the face.
Again?
Right? Again. I look up, and my girlfriend was there at the time, and I look up, and the only thing I said was, "Those are some nice asses." Right? Had no, like, I didn't realize I had passed out, and the guy was like slapping me awake, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, it didn't even hurt. Like, there was no pain whatsoever. So I decided, you know what? Maybe I'm not
cut
out for getting tattoos without having someone beat the shit out of me.
Did you get the Nazi symbol covered up?
No, it's actually not a Nazi symbol. It just looks like something a Nazi would have tattooed on them.
Like what? Like tribal or something?
Kind of like
I don't think I've even seen it.
It's like a sickle. It's weird.
I know what you're saying. Okay.
And then now actually it's kind of better because I wound up having some skin surgery through it. And
we're learning a lot about Greg on this podcast.
So the dermatologist who did this skin surgery and through my tattoo was like, "How much do you care about this tattoo?" And I literally was like, "I could give a shit less. Whatever you do to it, it's going to improve this tattoo. Like, no matter what you do, cut right through it, cut a piece out, it's going to make it better." So he did his best when he put my arm back together, not to fuck up this tattoo as little as possible. And now it actually, it doesn't look that much different, but I really was expecting him to fuck it up so you couldn't see that it resembled some potential war crime.
So Natalie, what was your first tattoo? Do you remember?
My first tattoo was probably like a stick and poke when I was in high school with my friend. So we had like some sewing needles and a pencil and some tape.
You did it to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Damn.
Where is it? Where'd you do it?
It's on my ankle. It's so funny. I like fucked up on one ankle, so I was like, I'll go to the other one.
Is
or my heel,
there?
the heel.
Is it still there? Can you still see it?
Mm-hmm.
Because mine, like the one on my ankle, is kind of, I mean, it's still there, but it's way faded.
They get washed out for sure. Yeah.
Very, very faded. So what was your first like real tattoo?
My first real tattoo, I was 18, and that same friend, she had drawn like a garlic plant, and we worked on some farm together in high school. So I got that tattooed on my inside of my leg.
A garlic, interesting. And I mean, you're obviously very tattooed up, right? Like now, like, did that happen fast? Did you just get that and like, wow, I really like getting tatted, and then you just kind of went for it, or has that, because it's not been that long, it's only been a handful of years really, so like that takes a lot of time.
I've gone through phases where I got tattooed a lot. I was really good friends with this guy. He owns a shop in Brooklyn, and I would just go there and he'd give me like 4 tattoos. It was like a and that filled things up pretty quickly. Then I took a break for about a year, and then this year I started getting them again.
Right. That's pretty cool. What's your favorite one?
I just got the outline of a dragon on my thigh, and it is so fucking cool.
Really?
I didn't get it.
Did
I
you
haven't
post
gotten
it
it
on
finished.
Instagram?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw that. That was dope. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Thank you.
Nick has me on his thigh. It's a work in progress.
Honestly, like do you think I can make money? Obviously I'm broke because I'm just thinking of ways to make money. Could I make money offering people, look, I'll get your face tattooed on my leg and you'll pay me?
You could, but I think that's a strange route to go down. That's forever. You don't want some creepy dude.
Or you could just keep tatting over it. Like
yeah.
I guess, man.
That's gonna amount to one hell of a scab.
But I'm just gonna imagine like a good-looking girl on Instagram. How many creeps are gonna be like, "I'll give you $1,000, put my face on your like." How many fucking weirdos are gonna come out of the woodwork for that shit? You know what I mean?
It'll be my creepo thigh. It'll be my.
Or you could sell like hand-drawn tattoos of you that someone could take to a tattoo parlor and be like, tattoo her on my leg.
That's true.
Then that just ups the creep factor. But hey, making money.
This is a business meeting first, okay?
How do we make some money?
How do I make money without getting naked? Is pretty much.
It's so.
I've been asking myself every morning.
Me and Nick have this conversation all the time.
Really?
Yeah. About just it, because it kind of like I'm just very confused somewhat on the whole like OnlyFans thing that has kind of taken over social media, with like everybody being like, oh, I'll sell an OnlyFans and I'll sell pictures of me like this way for, whatever, $8 and $12. And I'm like, so is this like the cautious way of getting into what you 10 years ago was webcam girls? Like, is that what this is? And I don't know Nick, what is your response when I try to have you unconfuse me in this world of OnlyFans?
I mean, it literally could be anything. It's not even like the joke is like it's a sexual thing or whatever, but like it literally could be anything. It could be, it's like a Patreon in a way. Like you're paying for content. I mean, there's like a guy who used to be in the fitness industry. He's like this big, like jack dude, and like he, has some nude photos, and like people are into that. Some people just like
but why not
their music?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, what's the difference between that and doing like the Patreon thing? Like, I don't see people advertising, hey, subscribe to my Patreon to see, pictures of Nick Scopoletti in a singlet, as much as that would do phenomenal.
And I got him, but yeah, I don't know. I think the OnlyFans thing started as one thing, but it really could be anything. Like it's pretty. I mean, like if for sake of argument, Natalie, if you wanted to start an OnlyFans and it was just like tattoos or something like that, or like people would probably be really into that.
I'm sure.
Up for that, you know what I mean? It could be literally anything. So
I don't know why. I just feel like completely averse to that entire website. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel like it's weird. It's somewhere between porn and not porn.
Yeah, that's what I think. I do. I think that's what it is. And
it attracts a certain
it's what
type of guy too. Like I know some girls who have OnlyFans, and I've talked to them about it, and like they're telling me about how guys just send them money to like, hey, dress in like workout clothes for me. And it's just like a weird, like, I'm not hating on it. I'm not like, but like I couldn't even fathom like signing up for a girl's OnlyFans and being like, I'm gonna give her $25 to wear Lululemon. Like, I don't understand.
I think it attracts like creeps.
I think it's honestly, I like support women that do it. I think it's great that they have a platform for that. Sure. I just feel like it's almost like a cliche at this point. If I were to get an OnlyFans, I would be like, oh, okay. Like it's not.
There she goes again.
Yeah, it's like it's not. I don't know. I think it's awesome when people can make a living doing that. I'm fucking jealous because they're making a great living. But there's something about it that almost feels expected.
Yeah.
I just think they're supposed to be. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
You have to certainly have the right mindset for that, because you know what you're getting into, right? Like even if you did it, just totally innocent, showing off tattoos or whatever it is, what's going to come back from guys that, not all of them, of course, but certain guys are going to try to coerce you or convince you or, just into the kind of shit you're not into. And if you're not really able to process that, I think it could totally fuck someone up mentally.
Yeah. You don't know how it'll make you feel until
Right.
you're there.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, until you're actually.
You've got to have thick skin, and much respect to those women that hustle on there.
Amen.
Hey man, like you gotta do what you gotta do. But I mean, also too, you have other things going on. You have, you know, you got, not to say that girls on OnlyFans don't have a personality, but you have a personality. You're funny. You're a comedian. You run stuff. You have 2 podcasts. You're doing things, so that may, could fuck with your brand. You know what I mean? Like in a way.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
So
that, like, I'm a brand guy. Like, that's my real living, is in the world of marketing and brand development. And, for sure, like, if someone's goal is to, be a cam model or webcam or soft, whatever it might be, that's fine. But if someone has loftier goals than that, there's definitely things that could impact, someone taking you more seriously by having certain things. It just is how it is, right? Not that that's good or bad or indifferent, but if you're strategically trying to build a brand around whatever it is, then that should come first.
Right.
And have everything be a derivative of what that brand represents. And if whatever doesn't represent that, don't do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about 9 Inch Nails. I want to talk about 9 Inch Nails.
You guys are like, we're done talking about this.
I was like, you know what? She's got so much other shit going on. Fuck this OnlyFans shit.
I know it. It's so
comedy,
dumb.
her music. Go, Greg.
We're gonna get back to Twitch.
Yeah.
No, so I'm really curious, because that was obviously the part of the Metal Injection article that they featured you in, which was great. Obviously, it's great seeing that the metal community is taking up comedy. Like, that's really cool that they're dedicating, pieces of the magazine, whether it's digitally or whatever, to comedy. That is awesome.
Right.
And they're 2 very things close to me, is metal and comedy. So seeing that was phenomenal. But more specifically, 9 Inch Nails, right? So you mentioned in that article that you got into 9 Inch Nails when you were in high school.
Yeah.
Right. Which doing the timeline of that kind of takes me, because I'm a huge 9 Inch Nails fan. I got into the music business solely because of 9 Inch Nails. Okay. And I ran a music magazine started and ran a music magazine for 10 years because I wanted to get into a 9 Inch Nails concert and I couldn't.
Right? Why couldn't you get in?
Because it was
at him. No, I'm sorry.
It was a radio, like one of those radio shows, like they played Irving Plaza. It was one of the radio stations, private shows for their, I think, the Fragile album. And you had to win tickets. And I mean, I'm not a guy who's going to sit around and try to win tickets to a concert. So I happen to have a friend in the music business who told me, my buddy works at Interscope, call him. Maybe you can make up a story and get into the show. And I had just launched this bullshit website for the business I had at the time. And I was like, all right, I'll tell him that I'm starting a website for rock and roll and, music. And I did. And the conversation lasted 2 minutes and I had a press pass and tickets to this concert.
Wow.
And I was like, holy shit, called my friend. I'm like, we're going to see 9 Inch Nails. It was 9 Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, and Pop Will Eat Itself, right? Like, ridiculous. So the next day I'm like, fuck, I better start this magazine. So I did. And I ran it for 10 years, all because of a 9 Inch Nails concert I had to get into. But the question is, you got into 9 Inch Nails in high school, which takes you 7, 8, 9 years ago, right? Right? Thereabouts. Yeah. So that's just about the time that I really stopped counting on Trent to deliver records that I could enjoy as much as I enjoyed the first handful of records, right? Those first handful of records were super aggressive and like so much fun to go to those shows. And I was lucky enough to start seeing shows by 9 Inch Nails on Pretty Hate Machine, which no one knew what the hell that band was or what the industrial movement was or where he came from or anything. So I went through a whole bunch of great years right up through Woodstock, and that's my 9 Inch Nails, right? But then when you look back to, say, the last 10 years of 9 Inch Nails, it's very different. not bad. I mean, he's a genius, right? He is an absolute musical genius. You know, the stuff he did for Social Network and his work in film is just tremendous, but it's not the Nine Inch Nails that I have all my great memories to. So I'm kind of curious to where do you sit in the Nine Inch Nails world?
I definitely like the earlier stuff for sure. And I think I kind of was in that exploratory period of my life when I discovered them. So, you know, it's not so much, I think when you're just like discovering music, it's not so much about who's making what right now. And it's more
Right.
about like what's out there that I haven't heard of yet.
Sure.
So I definitely fall in like that earlier camp, but I do think that he's truly a brilliant person in terms of music theory and composition and just like the way he's able to express himself. Like if someone ever asks like what is it in entertainment, like he has it, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because I did meet him last year.
Oh.
And we were on a plane together from LA to San Francisco. And he was with, I can't remember his name, the other guy in Nine Inch Nails, his producing partner. And I'm like, holy shit, I have to tell him this story, right? And I'm not someone to approach people. I don't. It doesn't really faze me, but I'm like, Trent Reznor is right there. Like, I have to tell him that I started a music magazine because of him. No idea where that conversation is going to go. So we got off the plane and we're standing in like the where you get off the plane. This is going to sound totally fucking obnoxious. It's not meant to. It was a private hangar in San Francisco. We flew this. And Nick is like, you're a dick. But it wasn't that kind of private plane. But anyway, so we're basically 10 people standing in this airplane hangar waiting for cars to come pick you up. So I went over to him and I was like, you know, I hate to interrupt you, but I have to tell you that my entire music career got started because of you. And he looks at me and he was like, thanks. That was the conversation. And I could tell by that thanks, like he didn't want any more of that conversation. Like, you know, you certainly had that happen to you before, or you've been on the other end of that.
Right.
And I'm savvy enough to know that there was no more conversation at that moment to be had with Trent Reznor. So I was like, nice to meet you. Gotta go.
Do you wish you hadn't said anything?
No, I could care less. I'm not like one of those people that says, you know,
Right.
wish you never met your heroes or whatever. But I just figured it's the only chance I see where I could tell someone that had a meaningful part of my career, you know, that they had that part, right? Whether he wanted to hear it from me or not. And so I did, and I feel good about it. Would have been nice to have a follow-up, you know.
That is some awesome story.
3 words, but didn't get any.
Have
Yeah.
you ever met him, Natalie? Have you ever like?
I have not met him, no. And he did play in New York in early 2019, I think, or end of 18, and I missed that too. So I'm bummed about that, and I thought there would be more opportunities, but of course there weren't.
I'm pretty sure he would have given you more than 1 word.
I don't know. You know,
I think he would. Just a hunch.
Maybe.
Anyway,
Now, Natalie, I want to talk about comedy.
Do it.
So, you know, you got the music thing, whatever. But like, when did you get into stand-up? I had no idea you were 25. By the way, you're so young, and you've done so much already in the stand-up world and all that. So,
oh, thank you.
Yeah. How did you get your start with that? What made you want to do that?
First of all, thanks. That means a lot to me. And I guess I had been wanting to be an actor like my whole life. Like since I was like in grade school, I took acting classes. I was always like in whatever school play. And then I went to like acting conservatory. I studied with Win Handman. I don't know if you know him. He's legendary. And I just wasn't really feeling like I was getting any momentum with that. So I 3 years ago just went to an open mic and that was it. I just kept going.
That's kind of how it all goes, right? That's the same thing with me. It was 2.5 years ago. You go to an open mic and it's just keep going. Now, was it an immediate, like you fell in love with stand-up right away? You're like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's performing that I'm in love with. Like, I like stand-up because I can write my own material, but I'm also equally passionate about performing somebody else. I'm maybe not equally, but I also would be happy to perform someone else's material in like a movie or something like that. But I think I've always known that that was what I wanted to do. And I enjoy being able to write my own script.
Yeah, it's very fulfilling when you like it's your thoughts or even you're just talking about things in your life and you're performing them on stage and people it resonates and you see them like nod and laugh like, oh yeah, like there's no better feeling where you're like, oh, I'm not the only one. Okay, that's cool. It's so awesome.
Yeah, now I'm feeling sad I canceled my shows tonight. Jesus. No.
I'm sorry.
There'll be plenty more. Don't worry. I think we just gotta get through the month.
I keep telling myself that. It's like I keep being like, all right, this is the last one, but I need to be fucking smart at this point. This is
No, I mean, I did that in November because I had like I didn't have coronavirus, but I had like 3 different tests. I was supposedly exposed to somebody. I had this weird like 24-hour thing where I got sick. I don't know, it wasn't coronavirus. And I got tested again before thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing shit because I was like, I had to miss like my little cousin's birthday party.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I'm not missing Thanksgiving in 2 weeks. Like I did the same thing in November. I was like, I'm not fucking leaving my house till after Thanksgiving. I want to see my 70-year-old father. So
and not kill him.
Not kill him. He could care less about this virus, but I'm fine. That's what he says. It's not gonna happen to me. And I'm like, okay. All right, Dad.
So stressful. It's just crazy.
How much time do you spend writing?
I spend a fair amount of time writing. I definitely like take some time each day to try and flesh out like a new premise or idea.
Right.
I think I do a lot of my writing like on stage too.
Yeah. Did you do a lot of Zoom shows?
I did.
And how did you feel about those?
I love Zoom shows. I don't know if it's because I live in, maybe it's because I live in Jersey and everything takes an hour to get to, but
all right, that's fair.
I love Zoom. When there's a good audience, when there's like, 15 people paying attention with their cameras on and their mics on, it's great. You're connecting with people. They're laughing. You can work stuff out. I almost started to feel like a freedom in Zoom that I never felt on stage and that I'm trying to bring to the stage because I don't know. I like Zoom.
Huh.
Yeah.
I could see what you mean by like a freedom. Like, I mean, we're on Zoom right now, right? And like, you can only see from here up. I'm home. I'm in sweatpants. Like, you know what I mean? You're not on like a stage, maybe freaking out before your performance. And there's always people you could see everything in front of you. So
right.
I could see that. So you like the Zoom shows? I didn't do any Zoom shows. I was
really?
Like, I feel like I was too new to the point where I was like, I don't even know if I could do this. Like I was just getting the hang of live stand up. Like,
right.
If I go to this, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. But
yeah, the few that I watched, they had most people not your mic turned off, so you couldn't chime in or interrupt or distract everyone else watching. So it was very much like just watching someone in a box.
That's awkward. I mean, here's the thing. I feel like they can go terribly wrong. But the thing is, if you have a good host, if you have someone that's like setting the tone for what is expected of the audience, because this is new for them too. So if you have someone hosting the show saying, listen, turn your mic on, turn your video on, please don't interrupt the comics, but we do want to see you smiling. It changes the entire experience.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. So you really, I mean, when you say you're going to take a break, are you really taking a 2-week break or is it going to depend on what happens come after New Year's? Like, what are you really thinking?
Don't stress her out, dude. I saw that. She's like, I don't know.
No, I think, you know what? I think I'm going to take a break until January 1st.
Okay. 16 days. All right.
And I'll reassess.
Put that countdown on your Instagram story or something, or figure maybe that's your first Twitch, like countdown 16 days from today until you can figure out
no live stand up
your Twitch channel.
I mean, I do have a bunch of Zoom shows lined up and pretty crazy, but I'm hoping to, and podcasts and stuff. I'm hoping to keep that muscle moving without killing myself and my family.
And with your podcast, how often are you recording? I mean, obviously one of them is brand new and you've only done a few, but how often are you recording shows for both podcasts?
Thirst Trap we record once a week, and the tattoo podcast it's kind of random. Like we did 2 episodes yesterday and we hadn't done one for like 2 weeks. So I don't know. Just kind of, I guess
Pops
it's
in and out.
bi-weekly.
Right. And is Thirst Trap, do you guys ever bring on guests, or you guys solely, you just do it the two of you?
We have brought on some guests, but I think I like it better with just us.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, no, that's cool. When this all first started going down in April, me and Nick just went on an absolute tear, and we recorded I don't even know, 40 episodes, 40 different interviews over the course of 5 weeks.
Cool.
And at one point I'm like, dude, what are we going to do with all these interviews? We have enough interviews to last us through 2021. And we were like, I don't know, like the material, like the interviews are obviously at that point were very much related to what was going on in the world, being completely locked down in COVID. If we waited 6 months to put that out, and at least the thinking at the time was no one's going to care. It's not going to be meaningful. So we put out an episode every day in May.
That's cool. That's awesome.
It sounded awesome, or sounds like that could have been awesome. It was a shit ton of work to just get that all out and moving. It was way too much, but it was good because we really got a chance to talk to a lot of people on both coasts, all in the comedy world, and it was fun. It was a great learning experience for us. We really got to take our show to a kind of another level at that time. So highly recommend doing as many episodes as you can.
Cool. Yeah.
Get them going. And then kind of the last thing I want to ask, also music related, is that reading through that, you mentioned one of my favorite bands.
I hope you say Sonic Youth. Are you going to say Sonic Youth?
No, I'm not. I mean, I love Sonic Youth. Okay. But
Molly Crew.
Wait, I let me finish. What I was going to say was one of my favorite bands to see play live.
Okay.
Right. And obviously now we've mentioned the 4 bands, or 3 of the 4 bands you mentioned in your article. So the only one left is Nashville Pussy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So my question is, are you really a Nashville Pussy fan, or how did that come into the art? Like how?
You know, my music taste is genuine when it's just completely motherfucking random. Like it's
totally fucking random. I'm like, Nashville Pussy.
I guess I know about Nashville Pussy because a comedian friend of mine told me about it in the green room once at Greenwich, and then I looked him up and I loved it.
Have you ever seen them live?
I have not.
Oh my God. If they ever do come back around, you have to go see them play live. I was lucky again enough to see them with the original lineup with the girl whose brother was the NBA player, the original bass player. Brother was his name is Cherokee Parks. He was in the NBA for a long time, also gigantic, and his sister was 6'5". I mean, just the band was a presence on stage.
Yeah.
Right? Such a thing to see, so much power coming out of them, and just one of the all-time greatest bands to ever see perform live. And I saw that, I'm like, no fucking way. I was like, there's no chance. So that's pretty awesome. I mean, that
Thank
really
you.
is. You have fantastic musical tastes.
Oh, thank you.
Nick is going to immediately after this go listen to Nashville Pussy, and then
never heard of them,
and call me up and be like, dude, this band is amazing. We need to come out to
I'll check them out. I've never heard of them.
They're just dirty rock and roll. Just aggressive, not in a metal way aggressive, just if you took the Black Crowes and kind of put them on speed.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of what Nashville Pussy is.
Natalie, if I want to listen to them, what song would you say I should try first?
Oh fuck. The name of the song that I love, the first song I listened to was let me look at that. It's okay. Yeah, I'm a real fan here. Okay, I think the first song I listened to was Hate and Whiskey, but I could be wrong.
Hate and Whiskey. Okay. I love they have a 2015 album called 10 Years of Pussy.
Yeah, it's just so awesome. Good. It's just so good. I mean, their songs are mostly about girls, drugs, and booze.
Which is what I like.
Yeah. I mean, hey, they were my favorite band, one of my favorite bands to see in New York City when I was going to see shows all the time. Such a good time.
All right, what was that song again? Sorry,
Hate and Whiskey.
Hate and Whiskey. All right.
Mhm.
I'm going to check it out.
I figured
Awesome.
Nick would have went with
Go to hell.
Pussy Time
Oh.
or Go Motherfucker Go. Like,
these are great titles. I'm looking at all these titles right now. They're great.
Like that's
Till the meat falls off the bone. That's what I'm talking about.
Like it's just the references to like parts. It's just so good. They're so good.
Rub it to death. All right. Anyway, Natalie, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. If you want to I know you're not doing shows for the next 16 days, but we didn't even get to talk about it. You run the shows at the Tiny Cupboard, right?
I
If you want
do.
to talk about that, talk about when they're gonna.
Yeah.
I don't know what the plan is now in New York, but
I have a show every Saturday at 7 p.m. at the Tiny Cupboard. They're on Zoom for the next 2 weeks, so we will reassess after that. If you're interested in watching, just find me on Instagram and I'll give you the information for the Tiny Cupboard shows. It'll be a lot of fun, and that's pretty much it.
beautiful. And check her out on Twitch when she figures it out.
Yeah, just Google Twitch.
I uploaded a video right before this. I'm really curious to see. I had 4 followers last time I checked, which is pretty good for day one. So,
hey, how did they find you? Did you like say on Instagram or whatever? I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I just posted on Instagram. Follow me on Twitch, ominously. So we'll see.
Well, we'll see how that does. Anyway, seriously, thanks. This was a lot of fun. We'll obviously talk about doing shows at some point with you.
Awesome.
So with that, we're gonna end, but hang out for a sec.
Okay.